The Jim and Terry Show, as always, coming to you from the... Do you remember the days when we used to have to say the comfy couch?
The comfy couch with my little blankie.
Maple leaf blankie.
My blankie. My maple leaf blankie.
Because the days of Skyping were our safety net during a pandemic that we had never experienced for 100 years.
Yeah. Well, and so we did our shows that way. It was interesting, except I never got out of my jammies. And I'm not out of my I am out of my jammies now.
Now, before we started to sort of isolate ourselves, we did go through various permutations. The first recommendation is that you use bigger spaces. So the Hobbit Hole studio, which is small and confined, we went outside to the cabin, which was bigger and spacious.
Had nothing to do with Kim being mad at Terry.
No, I'm always in the doghouse, so that doesn't matter. Then it got too cold.
Yes.
And I believe that was in
we did
2021. We did have a heater, and we were blowing fuses because it was drawing current off a circuit that had other things on it.
Yes.
And we're starting to feel like Bob Cratchit.
It had a great atmosphere, like
Jackson.
red-green atmosphere to it.
Oh, and red-green is coming trippingly to our minds these days.
Yeah.
Nostalgia there. But we also did it here in the basement, which was a bigger space with more ventilation, kept the fan going to move the air around. And at one point, we'd put the meter sticks on the board because you were supposed to stay 2 meters away, 6 feet roughly. So you were on one end of the picnic table, and I was at the other end of the picnic table. What we did with what we knew, or what we thought we knew at the time, and maybe that's sort of where we can talk about on this, what we thought we knew, what we know. Would we do things differently if we knew then what we know now? Or
well, you were a poster boy, I think, for following protocol.
Safety first.
Yeah, safety first. And so, in that, you didn't get COVID. No. Did anybody in your household?
Yes, my daughter got it at classes in university.
Okay.
But,
I thought
but
you were
she
gonna say
came home,
no.
and we had to keep protocols here.
Yeah.
And made sure that we remained safe.
Yeah.
We did a lot of masking.
Yeah.
And don't let them believe. I hear it again because there's a fall surge coming.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you've been reading about it. A vaccine's been approved for Canada as well, sometime in the fall.
Yeah.
I think. And
it's probably going to be like a flu shot now. Every year you get a booster.
They won't label it as a
Actually,
COVID
this isn't
shot,
a booster that's coming. This is a shot, a new shot.
Yes, it's a XXB if you've read
And
the
is this going to now complete the process of turning us into aliens?
That I don't know. We'll have to do some search our social media feeds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a little cautious of getting it, not because I don't believe in it, just because I do have bad reaction to it. And
you're cautious of getting the shot.
What's that?
You were cautious of getting the vaccine.
Yes. And I'll probably get it should it come out, and if I don't have to drive from here to Timbuktu. But unfortunately, and I will follow everything. I'll drink like 3 bottles of water before. That's why I can't be too far away. 2 while you're having it, another 2 after, because twice I have passed out not knowing what I was doing. And it was because
not while you're operating a vehicle.
No, but it could have been. I was just dehydrated, and the last time I was at my neighbor's garage, and bear in mind you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be hydrated, and I didn't do that because I had to come from Lindsay, so I didn't do that, and I didn't drink water or anything. And immediately my friend Al was in the garage and needed help. So I unloaded the truck, says, have a drink, Jim, have a drink. Sure, I'll have a drink.
Alcohol is another way of staying dehydrated.
Well, that's right. And so I ended up in the basement.
Whose basement?
Mine. Woke up and walked out totally fine and said, Can you tell me what happened? Said, you were just talking to me as normal. Your legs gave out and you went down.
But how did you get into the basement?
He picked me up. I guess I partly walked and carried me to the basement.
You're semi-conscious,
yeah.
Wow.
So that's happened to me twice. So
on both vaccines or both cases of dehydration?
Well, because having the vaccine and the dehydration. It's not the vaccine on its own, you understand. If you do what they say, which I did the last vaccine I had, I was totally fine. In other words, don't have a drink, no matter who offers it to you, and drink water. And I did, and because it was just over at the church.
Yeah.
So I dropped my friend off for something. I did a favor to a friend on the way to the church, had 2 things of water, had a water while I was there, got the needle, had 2 waters, and I was fine, nothing.
That's funny. You measure your consumption as numbers, 1 and 2. I had 2 waters and
Yeah.
took three
Yeah,
waters.
yeah.
What is a water?
A bottle of water.
A bottle of water.
Yeah.
So some 378, 328 mils,
Uh,
the standard pop bottle
yeah,
size. of
320 or
water.
whatever it is. I don't know.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah, and I was fine, and so I'm not blaming the needle, but on the other hand, the first time I did it, I was really fatigued. Or was it the second time? Like, first time I did it, I was fatigued. No, for a longer period of time, like 2 weeks, very fatigued. Second time,
I think you've been fatigued since I've known you.
second time I took it, I was extremely fatigued, or that might have been reverse. I can't remember now.
Right.
Third time I took it, I wasn't fatigued as much. I think I might have had a little bit of a sore.
So you've had 4 vaccines.
Yeah.
I've had 5. I'm fully vaxxed. The last one was that bivalent vaccine.
Yeah.
And I intend to get this one, the XXB one, when it
Yeah.
becomes available.
Yeah.
I think there's no.
And
gonna
you
be
have
no,
no side effects whatsoever.
none. Well, I had a sore arm, which I
Well,
get
that's
from
no
a flu
big deal.
shot.
I get that from a flu shot too.
Yeah.
One time my arm was almost paralyzed from a flu shot, and I knew what it was, so
Yep.
I wasn't upset.
Yep.
But I had to pick it up and move it, like
Yep.
this, right?
Yep.
And one day, just one day. But the COVID shot does knock me out. It makes me very, very,
Really?
yeah.
So whatever the difference is.
Just look, it's got to, like, some people die on all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
It's just the way the cards are dealt. Everybody else I know is fine. Everybody. They're all fine. So it was only me who had the fatigue and stuff like that. So it's me.
So
There's
it's
something
you.
about it.
There's something about it. Well, I think if you got vaccinated after a Jim and Terry show, you'd be okay because you would be hydrated and well fed.
Yes,
And I think that makes a difference too.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know
what
where
were we
we were
talking about? Where would we even go with this?
Well, I don't know. I was just going to mention, since we were onto the vaccines, that there is the recurring theme of the anti-vax rhetoric appearing on Twitter a lot more. I'm going to purchase, which you may be interested in hearing my interpretation of when I read it, Dr. Hotez and his book on the anti-vaxxers' anti-science, and how did we get to this place where people don't trust science anymore? Where did that happen? Because the group who got their polio vaccines, who got their measles, mumps, rubella vaccines, all trusted in the science. So when did that change and why?
Probably changed when you started referring it to the science. Back in the day, it was just the doctors. Well, if the doctors thought, of course, we have mixed on that as well. Some doctors covering their own butts will actually say some unusual things, I think. So it's this atmosphere we've developed now in this modern society is becoming very disturbing. When people can't say it like it is, or have to cater to what everybody wants to hear, that's got to be tough. But I think it might be the sciences. That might be part of the breaks, and I don't know why. But
There seems to be a very serious demarcation, and I look specifically at the United States and their fundamentalism as being one of the big chisel and hammer to the wall of what I used to think is a solid knowledge, science. It's provable. But the fundamentalists have now sort of gone against it. A lot of anti-vaxxers were found in the fundamental Christian community. And now we've got this holy thing of the purebloods are the ones who didn't take a vaccine. And they're going to be the breeders. So that's sort of a Margaret Atwood theme, the breeders. Yeah, because they don't want to breed with the rest of us I forget what the hybrid word, we're not human anymore.
Well, unfortunately, it's been a long time since somebody wanted to breed with me.
Oh, no confessions, not live on the Jim and Terry Show. I'm not editing this out. I did want to mention that I keep on getting these Google Scholar alerts, which means the people that I follow. And when you want to verify somebody's credentials, and you want to see whether they are really what they say and what their history is of publication, you go to Google Scholar. And I follow Dr. Susan Oliver and Debunk the Funk. I forget his name.
Oh, yeah,
offhand.
yeah.
Dr. Wilson. And I follow both of them, and among others that I follow. But yeah, when I see their names coming up so many times with referenced here, referred to there, and published this, published that, I'm thinking this is a first line of defenses for you to know who you're following and know their credentials and whether they're believable and credible or not.
Well, you've heard me say this a lot, and I do believe in it a lot. Right in the beginning, if you picked a side that's anti-vax, you've built your army and you're staying with it. And that's just unfortunately the way it's going to be. And unfortunately, I believe in that. Some people have died when the guys, I told you about the guys in a Tim Hortons or something behind me,
Yes.
blasting about how he's never
Yep.
going to wear a mask. And I'm thinking
Yep.
to myself, how many people have you possibly killed walking around because you're a good, strong, solid human being?
That's what we were going to talk about. It was ethics, and we'll get to that in our next
Oh,
podcast.
that's what we were gonna
Yeah,
talk
so
about.
there you go. The stream of consciousness of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Jim and Terry show. But you're right. How many people did we inadvertently, unintentionally, but is it unintentional when you make a deliberate choice? I'm not going to wear
no,
a mask.
not if
I'm
mentally
not
you don't
going-
think it even exists.
No, yeah.
You're going to still have that.
Yeah, the
I will not
plandemic.
get in arguments with it.
Yeah.
Last night I just walked away from something.
Really? Still?
No, it wasn't about the facts. It was about something else. I just walked away. I'll tell you off.
No, okay. Off air, we'll talk about things that Jim encounters. He has a strange encounter all the time.
Because I have strange friends.
You maybe do. Maybe I'm one of them.
Even the ones you can't see when they're right here with me now.
Oh, the one on your left shoulder, or the one on your right.
You told me.
I know that's a Marxist commie on your
You
left.
told me. You told me when you showed up.
It's the far right, whatever they are, on the other side. What we listen to, the voices we listen to, the voice of reason, the voice of common sense. I gave up common sense once Mike Harris took it over, the common sense revolution in Ontario. PC politics.
Geez, you had to get it in
Oh, I had
again.
to-
Stop it, will you?
Well, let me finish off with the jab.
Oh, the